This is Dumbline, the podcast of dumb crimes and even dumber criminals. Hello, dummies! Welcome to another episode of my grandpa's favorite podcast, Dumbline, where we feature dumb crimes and dumb criminals. My name is Greg. I'm joined by my golfing buddy, Jason.
Hello, everybody.
And the queen of Cavatelli, Maria.
Hey, dummies.
Cavatelli's good.
Is it?
It is.
Yeah.
I was just trying to...
No, it's good.
Yeah,
Underrated.
I don't even know if I'd recognize Cavatelli.
It's good.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Is
You'd
it
recognize
spiral, long?
No,
short?
it's kind of like tubular, but it's folded over
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
like a little rolled piece of paper or something. It's good.
That's why you're the queen.
Yeah. I know my pastas.
So I know you. I know everyone out there thinks it's impossible for me to have one more gripe about drivers. You're thinking, he's complained about everything.
They're terrible.
These people who, if they're turning left, swing out to the right.
Oh, God.
Oh,
like
yeah.
They're
drive-
driving like a Fiat.
Yeah.
Like a tiny little car.
Yeah.
They're not like a tractor trailer.
Yeah, it's like they're driving something with like a 40-foot trailer on
Yes.
it. It's so bad.
Put
It's
their
so
left turn
bad.
signal on and they swing out right. And
Yeah.
it's like, what the hell is
I don't-
happening? And it's the
Whoop,
tiniest
whoop.
compact
It's-
cars.
yeah, so bad.
Turn on a dime. Like, what? What is that mentality? Where
And
does it come from?
I have no idea. And it's so confusing, too, because they'll have their left, as a biker in the city, they'll have a left turn
Yeah,
signal on.
you want to go around
and
them.
Yeah.
you want to go around them, and then, nope, they're like, whoop, right in
gotta
front
swing out
of
raw
you.
wide.
Gotcha.
That's got to be on driving tests at some point. If it's not, how do you do a U-turn? Did we have to do a U-turn to get a driving
We
test?
had to do a K-turn.
K-turn? All right.
Yeah, like a 3-point
Yeah.
turn.
Let's just figure out how to make a normal turn.
Let's just go left. Don't swing
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
So you
without-
think if you were taking your driving test and you did the right swing out to make a left,
That's got to be
is
the
that-
immediate failure.
I wonder if you get a deduction from that.
It's got to be
You'd
like
think so, yeah.
It's got to be a terrible deduction. It's highly dangerous.
It is highly dangerous. Don't go right, then go left. Just make your fucking turns, everybody.
Yeah.
Greg's safety corner. That's the beginning.
We need like a horn, a car horn sound effect for your
But one of the old
You're
ones from like
driving-
1920s.
yeah.
Like,
Ooga.
yeah.
Hey, I hear that guy screaming. That little kid. Must be headline time.
Extra, read all about it. Extra, read all about it.
This week's headline is from Associated Press, Queens, New York, September 18th, 2024.
Queens.
Police say a pair took a New York City subway train on a joyride and crashed it.
What?
They have arrested one teen.
How much of a joyride is it just going straight on tracks?
Okay, I'll tell you what happened.
Can you like control tracks?
Can you
and
get
like,
off the tracks?
I mean, you can switch tracks, but you need to have a conductor's experience to do that.
Okay.
You can't learn this on YouTube. I mean, YouTube's got videos for everything at this point.
I mean, it's possible. They don't know
Imagine
how.
that he's got this cell phone up on the front of the front of the
Pull that
window
lever,
of
that
the,
lever.
of
This
the
one?
train.
Hold on, I got the phone upside down.
How to steal a train and take it
it
on a
for sure.
joyride.
It's possible. The two teens somehow got the train started in the middle of the night, drove it 50 feet, and then crashed it into another train.
50 feet?
That's it. They could only get it 50 feet. 6 days later, on September 18th, one of the two was arrested and charged with criminal mischief and endangerment. There's been no reported arrest of her accomplice.
Her.
Yeah.
These like the Kia boys. They start it with like a USB
Oh, yeah.
cable.
Yeah. That's how they also figured out you could start a train with the USB
Probably.
cable as well.
Yeah.
They're just sticking USB cables into everything.
They didn't find the brake. That's what's concerning. They learned how to start it, but didn't know how to break it.
I would assume the brake is probably big and red.
You'd think so. The big brake word written on
Yeah.
it.
The word brakes. Yeah.
It's got to be like there's got to be an emergency brake somewhere.
Something.
It's not they could have
Anything
picked
red.
up that much speed in 50 feet.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. The thing's got to like go. It was probably just like, boom.
Yeah.
Like,
The fact that they called it a joyride, it's like, how much of a joyride
that
is
is that is not a joyride 50 feet.
No.
And how fast could you possibly get the train going in 50 feet?
You
What is that
can.
going?
If
Like
you-
4
15
miles an
yards,
hour?
16 yards.
Like if it hit you going that fast, you'd probably just be like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't do anything. You'd probably just be like, oh man.
Oh, man. All right, Maria. Do you have a tale that will help us forget how expensive groceries are?
I do.
Excellent.
Oh, that's awesome. It's going to be one hell of a tale.
Yeah.
This is what happens when a narcissistic demopath is also a giant hemorrhoid in human form.
Ooh.
Sources include Court TV, Fox 35 Orlando, Law and Crime, Newsweek, and Reddit. And the story was recommended by Sherry. Thank you, Sherry.
Hey, thanks, Sherry.
You can find a list of all our sources in the show notes.
A human hemorrhoid is a terrible way to
Of course,
describe
Sherry would
somebody.
recommend this. I mean, I know who the Sherry is.
I also know who the
Yeah,
Sherry is.
of course.
And hemorrhoid seems right up
Yes.
the alley.
I think her email address is Poop Bear. I think when I email her.
Yeah, it's something. She has poop in her email address.
Yes, so of course, she may have to talk to a therapist about this fixation on Battissimo stuff.
Nonetheless, thank you,
Yeah.
Sherry.
Like Poop Bear at Netgear.
Barrett Netscape,
Netscape. Yeah.
GeoCities.
Yeah.
On February 24th, 2020, in Winter Park, Florida, which is about 8 miles from Orlando.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Ooh.
A 911 call is placed by 42-year-old Sarah Boone. She's calling to report that she and her boyfriend, George Torres Jr., also 42, were at her townhouse drinking and playing hide and seek the night before.
All right.
Okay. Fun game.
During the seek portion of the game, she came downstairs and found George climbing into a large suitcase and zipped him inside it for fun.
Wait a minute. She saw him climbing in it?
And then she zipped him inside.
How big is this
What was he
suitcase?
trying-
How
It's
big is
It's
he?
like a large.
How
I
big
mean,
is
he's
he?
not a huge guy.
I was going to say, I couldn't fit in a suitcase.
Is he a jockey?
Even a big one.
I
Yeah.
mean, he looks like a
Was he
skinny
was
guy.
he a
4
little
foot
person?
8? Yeah. Like, was he going to zip himself in this suitcase?
He was just going to hide in there for hide and go. For
Oh,
the
so
hide
she
and
was
seek game.
like, so she like zipped him up in there. and
Yeah.
he
So for
went-
all the Sarahs out there, I know this is a point of contention. Is it have an H on the end or
Yes,
no? Okay.
has an H.
Okay.
It's not A.
No, it's AH at the end.
Okay.
Yeah. When Sarah woke up the next morning, she says she was looking for George when she realized he was still in the suitcase. She tells the operator that she doesn't know what happened because she fell asleep while he was still trapped inside, but George is dead.
What the?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
The big Houdini guy who's trying to escape.
Yeah, you really want to practice your Houdini tricks when you're drinking and
Yeah.
the person that's supposed to get you out is
Is
passed
this like a
out.
hard an airtight Samsonite or something?
Yeah, it's like, is it one of those plastic ones?
Can't imagine.
It's
You
a
know?
material. It's that sort of like canvasy material.
Are they
you know.
airtight?
Let's keep going.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay.
So on the call, Sarah is matter of fact. She doesn't display even a hint of being shaken up, upset, or scared. Instead, she sounds like she's ordering a pizza. According to his autopsy, George died from positional asphyxia. He was left in the suitcase for up to 11 hours.
How big is she? Like, how does she manipulate
She's not
this guy?
that much. She's not that much bigger than
But he
him.
was a willing participant going into this.
He was just going to hide in the suitcase for the game.
He's a twice divorced part-time. What are those contortionists? He just got off the road of Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah, he was in Branson, Missouri on a
This is a
6-month.
weird description. She sounded like she was ordering a pizza.
I
It's
know.
a very bizarre description.
It is.
She was like, my boyfriend's dead. We were playing hide and seek, and I forgot he was in a suitcase. She was it was creepy to listen to.
Real.
Yeah,
So
she
just
didn't even
very
like
matter
pretend.
of fact.
Yep,
Just
he's dead.
I was playing hide and seek, and my boyfriend.
I forgot he was in a suitcase.
Did she say
Sorry,
she
it's
was?
so
Did
ludicrous.
she say she was wasted?
We'll get to some of
Okay.
that.
Okay.
When officers reporting to the scene ask Sarah for her cell phone, she readily hands it over. And here comes the dumb. Sarah's phone contains 2 videos of George trapped inside the suitcase while begging Sarah to let him out as she records him struggling to move and laughs.
Why is she readily giving over her phone, knowing these are
She's
in
dumb.
there? She's she's an idiot.
I can't fucking breathe, he says. Sarah replies, "That's what you do when you choke me." George repeats over and over again that he can't breathe while Sarah alternately laughs and replies, "Fuck you."
So with her saying, I'm not saying that Sarah is right here to lock her partner in a in a suitcase until he dies. But when she says that's what you do when you choke me, has he beaten her? Is there domestic abuse?
There is a history of calls of domestic abuse. One of the charges was dropped. That was her against him, claiming that he had abused her. She, on the other hand, has had a couple of charges of domestic abuse.
So one for him against her, but multiple for her against him.
And the one against
other people.
Her, the one against her was dropped. The ones against her charges against.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
okay.
yes. Her charges against him were dropped. His charges against her were substantiated.
Yes.
Were other people's charges against her?
It was all them.
All George?
Yeah. George and Sarah.
Okay.
So Sarah's got a little bit of an anger problem, or it was a little bit of a nut job.
Yeah. A little bit. We'll see. At one point, as George says again that he can't breathe, she replies, "That's on you. That's what it feels like when you cheat on me." When he says her name, she says, "That's my name. Don't wear it out."
Classic.
The video also...
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Has he cheated on her?
I don't know. She says he has, but
Does it
honestly...
matter?
No,
it doesn't.
The only thing I'm saying is that if he's like the serial cheater and beats the shit out of her a lot, maybe he got in this and she's drinking. She's like, "Oh, fuck you. Now I'm going to see how you like it." But if all of this stuff is not
so you're
true,
saying this was, if that is true, then you're saying this is justified.
I'm not saying it's justified. I could see being pushed upon a point where if you're going through this thing for years and years, people mentally are going to snap. If you're it could happen.
Yeah, I think the more
I'm not saying it's justified.
Yeah.
I'm saying people snap and do crazy stuff.
Yeah, but 11 hours is a long snap.
Yeah. Well, 11 hours is a long snap. It's not good.
So the video also shows George pushing against the suitcase trying to escape.
Yeah, I mean, this is...
So you can see the video, you can see like...
It's really haunting. I do not recommend anybody watches it.
Like,
it's very scary and sad. I had to turn it off after a minute. I couldn't watch the whole thing.
Oh, wow.
On February 25th, Sarah is arrested and charged with second-degree murder. During her interrogation,
That's not premeditated? Or I guess...
Like, that's not first
they don't have
That seems
they don't have
like if
evidence
she's
for,
sitting there watching that guy, George...
taunting him.
It doesn't mean it was premeditated. You can still do things like that and decide it in the moment.
That's my name. Don't wear it out.
I know.
Wow. Well, obviously, she is not a person that has snapped because she's recording this and making fun of him.
Yeah, she's got witty remarks.
Yeah,
like, come on.
She's also scarily holding the phone so still, like she's not even feeling anything. If you hold a phone and your hand's even remotely shaky, it will show up. This was completely still.
Does she have a history of...
Yes, beating
things?
him.
Well, I mean, previous to George, like
not that I know of.
Okay,
not that I know of.
I feel like this kind of behavior just doesn't pop up.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right.
During her interrogation, which is one of the most irritating interrogations I've ever watched.
Does she say, "No, you are, but what am I?"
Almost. She repeatedly states that she didn't touch George, which technically is true, I guess, but it's like every 5 minutes, she's like, "But I didn't touch him. I didn't touch him."
He put himself in the suitcase.
That is a very interesting...
But what does that matter?
defense.
She's watching him.
Well, that's the thing. It's like indifference, is
Yeah.
it? Yeah. Well, where that, I guess that's where the second degree or manslaughter comes in. Because if you were walking down the street and you saw somebody struggling to get out of a suitcase and you didn't help them.
I would think Ashton Kutcher's popping out with a Punked episode. I mean, if I'm walking down the street there, someone trying to get out of a suitcase. What? That's like the old piano falling out a window on me. Like, what?
Just say it's like a good Samaritan law. Like, do you have to help that person? Her situation's different.
It is very different.
Her situation's different, but...
It's very different.
Yeah.
So during the interrogation, she's calm and remains steady. And though everyone reacts differently to trauma, I can't imagine that if it was an accident, as she claims, she'd be that collected while recounting her boyfriend's death.
What's the accident here?
I'm rubber, you're glue.
Right. What is the accident?
Yeah.
She said it was an accident. She said she didn't know what happened.
But she's holding
I know. That's why this is one of the most frustrating interrogations I've ever seen.
Yeah, you might be able to get away with it if you're not videotaping it and taunting the person.
Right.
That is.
I know. And saying fuck you and like
crazy.
laughing at them.
That's
Much easier just putting him in there and going to bed and saying we're playing hide and seek. I couldn't find him and he wouldn't come out. I fell asleep.
Yeah, like I feel like she's like getting off on this or something, you know? Like she could easily be like, yeah, I passed out. Like we were playing hide and seek, passed out.
Yeah.
Sarah says George is prone to getting belligerent when he drinks, and she directs the officers to look at her phone's photos and videos. So she's not aware that they've seen the video yet because she's been documenting his abuse.
Does she not know that those are like the first 2 videos in her reel?
No.
Did
she try and delete them and they looked at recently deleted? No?
She didn't delete them. She just turned her phone over right away.
They're just in the reel. It's from like It's like the first 2, sort of like last video recorded.
And here comes more dumb.
Dumb.
Sarah tells police that she can't get drunk. She just can't. And doesn't like being out of control. But when you watch the video, she slurs so much she sounds like she's eating mud. Like she is definitely drunk. While the cops prepare to show her the video, she tells one officer, quote, "I excel at everything. I would not do that," meaning killing him.
But what does excelling at everything have to do with that?
She said she's an outstanding mother. She was a great student.
So she would be, if she excels at everything, if she did murder this guy, she would have done it better. She would have excelled at it.
I guess. They tell her that they noticed the zippered side is facing the floor. So at some point, she must have flipped it over.
Oh.
She says she did, but then she said she flipped it back over later on.
What size is this bag?
It's big. It's like a big travel.
And
you know,
like,
if you go,
oh man, like I feel like I would like.
Maybe you should
Can't
just
you get through the zipper? Can you get through the zipper?
Like you kick your way out or something?
Yeah, man, I want to get like in a bag and test this thing out.
I'm
like,
not involved in this at all.
No. But I mean, like how? But it is like. Because it seems like an older bag. Like, couldn't you the zippers kind of pull apart if you like push them hard enough? Like, it seems like this bag is some.
I mean, whatever they're doing
bag.
to them in the baggage cargo area seems to destroy my bag.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, those things open.
They're pretty beat off.
I know. Sarah claims that she left the zipper open a bit, enough to fit a finger in, but the officers challenge her and point out that he is visibly pushing up on the suitcase trying to get out and complaining about not being able to breathe. So there was definitely no spot that wasn't zipped up.
Would love to see
it might have also been locked.
Is it two?
She said she didn't lock it, but she could have locked it.
Is it 2 zippers or is it 1 zipper?
You can't. It's too far away from the bag to actually see if it was 1 zipper or 2 zippers.
But when they find them, do they know if it's 1 zipper or 2 zippers?
It wasn't in any of the stuff that
because if you have 2 zippers, and I am certainly not victim.
You're going to try this.
Guy.
You're going to go home.
This is going to be
I'm not doing.
I'm
not trying to do this. I'm just trying to understand. Like if you have 2 zippers, can't you get like your finger in there and like get those zippers apart?
Here's the thing. She said, "Oh, I didn't lock it." But maybe she did lock it.
If she locked it, then yeah, that's a whole nother story.
It's
and
too far.
She's
She's like at least
lock what?
10 feet away.
Like if you had like the 2,
if you had to lock
the 2,
put like a lock through them?
like a lock through them. Yeah, I lock mine when we track them.
You do?
Yeah.
What happens if TSA wants to go through them? They have to cut that off?
No, I mean I mean when I check it and it goes back, like they don't do anything. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, they
randomly search bags all the time.
When you like check them?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean I've never had a problem. Yeah, I always lock it. I don't
you
let
never got
them.
A little note.
Never let them. Would not let them have free reign of those. You're allowed to lock your stuff. I always.
They must be allowed to cut it off. Am I crazy, Maria?
No, I think they do randomly go through bags.
Yeah. I always lock my checked bag.
Oh boy, I'm surprised you get through. I'd be like, yo, Chuck, we got a guy over here doesn't want us in this bag.
Well, yeah, because I got a bunch of sneakers.
Get the Dremel to him.
Get the clippers, Chuck. I don't know. That's a good question. I've honestly never thought about it. I've just locked it.
Sarah says she thought he was crying wolf when he said he couldn't breathe. She states that she doesn't remember making the video at all. When they play it a second time during the interrogation, Sarah says, "You guys are killing me right now."
What?
Wow.
She doesn't want to hear it. She doesn't want to watch it.
She doesn't want to watch it?
Yeah.
That's a little cold given the situation.
Yes. Sarah doesn't go to trial until October 2024, first because of the pandemic, but then she gets really stupid and even more annoying, if that's possible. Her first lawyer is court appointed, but they don't last long. Sarah hires Maurizio Padilla in March 2020 instead. Maurizio quits, citing irreconcilable differes.
Isn't that what people get divorced for?
4 more lawyers follow, one at a time.
Have you ever heard of a lawyer getting fired for irreconcilable
No,
differences?
he resigned. He resigned. He didn't get fired.
Well, I mean, that's
Yeah.
funny that was his,
Oh, I know.
that was his excuse.
By December 2022, Sarah's 6th lawyer quits, also citing irreconcilable differences.
Wow. 6 lawyers?
We're not even done yet. At a hearing related to his resignation, attorney Frank J. Bankowitz testifies that Sarah called him 5 to 10 times per day and consumed a lot of time he needed to dedicate to other clients. The judge denies his motion to resign, but Frank tries again, stating that Sarah called him a dud and a buffoon.
Dud. We've talked about dud before.
Dud's not good.
Dud's terrible. I would let people call me a lot more things that I wouldn't get offended with. Dud. That's terrible.
Really?
Yeah.
You never want to be a dud.
Well,
Yeah.
no, I don't want to be a dud. Never.
No.
Someone's like, I know that guy. He's a real dud.
Yeah.
Ugh,
Oh,
I'd rather be a jerk, an ass.
Yeah.
He's a dud.
Yeah, guy's a piece of shit. Something. Dud.
That guy's a dud.
Yeah. Sucks.
So Frank is replaced by another lawyer who resigns in February 2024, also citing irreconcilable differences.
And also being called a dud.
Probably.
Lawyer number 7 has locked himself in a suitcase.
Lawyer number 8 is Patricia Cashman, who has a reputation for her ability to handle difficult clients.
It's a good lawyer named Cashman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a letter to the court, Sarah
Are
writes,
is she hiring these lawyers or are they court appointed?
she's hiring some of them are court appointed.
Okay.
I think this one was actually appointed by the court because she had a reputation for being able to handle difficult people.
We need you to take her because
Yeah,
this
because-
lady's crazy.
In a letter to the court, Sarah writes, quote, I want to make it known that I walked out on my attorney in our last meeting due to her unwarranted, uninformative, unprofessional, snotty attitude. Patricia resigns in June. A judge then decides, quote, the defendant will not permit herself to be represented by anyone. Her actions and inability to work with court-appointed counsel are repeated over and over. A judge eventually decides that Sarah will have to represent herself.
She's
So I
divorcing
was-
George in this? I'm lost.
This is her case.
Okay,
I heard
this
there's
is
a
the-
divorce attorney.
No, because I think we were talking about irreconcilable differences.
yes.
Yes, because we were talking
I
about it.
was
Yeah,
like, what?
yeah.
All right.
Because I was like, yeah, that's a weird term for
Okay, yes.
you to quit over your lawyer. Irreconcilable differences.
Yeah.
So that I was just going to ask that, like, in what case? Like, I've never heard somebody or a judge being like,
That's it.
you can't get lawyers because you can't work with them, so you have to defend yourself. That's bananas.
Yeah. So Sarah decides to make a handmade ad and sends it to the courts in July. The sign says, epic opportunity awaits. Looking for a prosperous challenge? Ready for your close-up on national television? Are you zealous with a side of keen? She includes the characteristics she's looking for in a lawyer, among them exceptional problem-solving skills,
You got to get me out of here.
and her name and inmate number.
I gotta say, she hits on some points that lawyers are okay with. Prosperity,
Yeah.
exposure.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, at this
She's a
point,
pretty good ad.
At this point, it's probably getting some national
hits, yeah,
exposure.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, this was, like, all over the
Like she's
place,
probably
yeah.
getting some.
So her ad is not the first letter Sarah writes to the courts. She submits at least a dozen letters advocating for herself and her case and complaining about her treatment and her right to a speedy trial.
So she, oh man, this
Speedy
girl,
trial.
she's really mucking up the works here. This is crazy that she's fired 10 lawyers and then's like, yo, you guys are fucking up. I have a right to a speedy trial. Like this is crazy. She knows how to work this whole thing.
In
I didn't
June-
touch him.
Yeah,
Her
I know.
whole thing
And I didn't
her
touch
whole
him. It's
thing
like,
is just like I didn't do it.
yeah, I don't know what happened. I was asleep.
So she's still in jail this whole time as she's going through all of this, and
Yes.
she's been charged, but she's
She's had a couple of pretrial hearings. They had to move. I mean, obviously the pandemic, this was
Yeah.
February 2020. So
Yeah.
pandemic takes up a lot of time. But this going back and forth with lawyers and then lawyers testifying they can't work with her.
Has she gone to trial yet?
No. She goes to trial in October
Oh
2024.
my God.
In June 2024, Sarah submits a 58-page handwritten letter.
That's got to be, I bet you that's
I
coherent.
read it. It is ridiculous.
That's very coherent and well structured.
No.
Probably.
No.
Beautiful prose.
She begins by listing all the ways she's been wronged in the trial process. Some of that section includes a bulleted list with the heading, "Why won't my attorney ... followed by, "Give me an answer other than, I'm putting this to rest. That's not necessary," or "I'm not having this conversation with you."
All they tell me is I'm not having this conversation with you. What is she asking these lawyers? I would love to know these
10
questions.
phone calls a day?
Yeah.
And it's just my attorney ... because
Yeah.
the names change so frequently. She doesn't know who to put in. It's like, what, a Mad Lib?
And then another one, "Why won't my attorney ... Like the detective in my case, stop putting words in my mouth." Further on, she asks, "Why have I been judged in the court of public opinion?" Lady, you zippered someone into a suitcase.
Yeah, this lady is
The court of public
delusional.
opinion is
Yeah,
inevitable.
Yeah,
Like,
yes.
Sarah also writes,
But
quote,
then she put in the ad, like, do you want to be a lawyer and get
National
get
television
national
coverage.
television?
Prosperity.
So
Does she have money? Do they have money?
I don't think so. I don't think she has a lot of money. Sarah also writes, "As so many of the advantageous embezzlers, racketeers, mindless lemmings, and just altogether mean people can use their freedom of speech, not knowing me in any way other than what's being said, and that's being said by all the other mean people and being said incredibly incorrectly, so can I."
She sounds
Unhinged.
like unhinged Karen.
Yeah,
I
she's a
bet you
Karen.
she freaks out. And no offense to all you wonderful Karens out there. But this sounds like
She should have a call the manager haircut. Like
yeah.
one of those,
I
you know.
guarantee you she's got like feathered hair. Like feathered hair, and it's like short feathers.
She does have short hair. It's not
Yeah.
feathered. About Patricia, lawyer number 8, Sarah says, "She, like other former attorneys who always blame their dysfunctions on me, said, 'You don't like the answers I give you.'" The letter also includes a portion of the Declaration of Independence and quotes the Florida Constitution and contains at least 10 pages of legal definitions for attorney-client privilege, attorney misconduct, habeas corpus, interrogation, etc. This is a letter for the court. They don't need Merriam-Webster's take on habeas corpus.
It's got the second verse of Freebird,
Yeah.
like how to make a pumpkin pie. Like it's got
All the lyrics to Rapper's Delight.
yeah, it's just got random.
Pledge of Allegiance.
And here comes more dumb.
Dum dum dum.
This is my favorite part of the letter. It also includes a world map labeled exploitation and saturation that includes countries and states marked by stars. She explains that the map is marked to record the areas from which she's received mail, which somehow translates into areas where her case is being exploited and saturated by the media.
So does she just have like the bigger the star, the more pubs she's getting?
Yeah,
there?
she has like all shaded in, everything's shaded in different colors.
She
A
loves
lot of
this.
resources in prison, this lady
Yeah,
does.
she does.
She's got a lot of loose leaf, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
she must be a pain in the ass at the library.
Oh God, you
Or at
imagine?
the cafeteria line.
It's got to be so bad. These peas, my peas are cold.
So she writes, "The continuation of the obvious exploitation allows the world to keep pressing their incorrect, presumed unfair theories, accusations, forcibly insinuating that I committed criminal acts." She puts criminal in quotes. How many times
smart.
do I have to say she zipped a human being into a suitcase?
Yeah, and recorded it.
Yes, and laughed.
And laughed and mocked as this guy.
Show me the penal code where locking people in a suitcase is against the law.
And she didn't touch him.
No, she never touched them. That's probably
So-
what she's thinking. Where is this?
Yeah.
What rule is this that I'm breaking?
Am I breaking anything? There's no law that specifically states I cannot record somebody and laugh at them while they are suffocating in a suitcase.
Yeah.
It's exactly what she's like
That they stuck
basically saying
themselves in.
that they put themselves in. She's nuts.
Somehow she finds a ninth and final lawyer, at least for now. James Owens joins the case in August, and her trial begins October 18th.
Come on down, James Owens. You're the next contestant.
Right out of law school.
Oh, yes.
The defense argues that Sarah killed George in self-defense. citing battered women syndrome, which, for anyone who doesn't know what that is the argument that the only way for victims of abuse to escape is to kill their partner.
That's what I was referring to earlier.
Yes.
This is obviously 100% not a case of that.
No. Sarah takes the stand, which is unusual, but I'm sure she insisted on it.
Oh, God, she's got to be a mess up there.
She does. And when she's getting cross-examined, her face just keeps getting redder and redder. I'm like, oh, my God, and she's blinking all the time.
Because she can't do anything to those guys except freak out. Like, what a bad move.
She states that she zipped him into the suitcase because she wanted George to know how she felt, and she hoped he would be a better person the next day. Maybe don't bring up the next day because you slept all night and found him the next day.
I just wanted to keep him in there for a day and then let him out and see, By
better person, did you mean dead person?
Yeah.
The jury deliberates for 90 minutes before finding Sarah Boone.
90 minutes?
That's quick. I mean, you probably get the charge takes like 30 minutes. You got to go in there.
Everyone's got to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, you got to introduce yourself, all that stuff. You got to meet the foreman or do all that.
Elect the foreperson,
all that stuff.
I think they also probably had lunch too, so it was probably like 5 minutes of debate.
So he did that. So she's guilty, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What's for lunch?
Right. So she's guilty of second-degree murder. She's shocked by the outcome, says her attorney.
Of course she is.
The attorney also states that he urged her to take a plea deal, which is, I think, why she went through all these lawyers. They were like, the best you're going to get is a plea deal.
Yeah. Like, don't go to trial and then sit on the stand.
Yeah.
Idiot.
Sarah Boone will be sentenced December 2nd, 2024, and is planning to appeal because, of course, she is. She's going to be appealing until she dies.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she has the right to appeal, but she'll still be in jail. I mean, hopefully for the rest of her life. You suck, Sarah.
Anna Victoria Torres, George's oldest daughter, tells Court TV, quote, I'm sure she's loved over there at jail due to the fact that Sarah Boone is very, very calculated. She is by no means a kind and sweet, soft-spoken woman. She's very calculated, very devious, very conniving. My father was sheltered and berated. He was kept from us. He was the real victim in this situation.
So that's his daughter from a prior relationship. Yes. Mm-hmm. No, I feel sorry for that. That's horrible.
Yeah, he has 2 daughters and a son.
That's horrible.
Not from her.
Not from her. And that is the giant human hemorrhoid, Sarah Boone.
Sarah Boone, you suck.
Jason, your assessment. I've got Greg's safety corner and Jason's suck it corner.
She's terrible. I hope you hear this and listen to how terrible you are. And how much of an idiot you are.
Oh, she's...
The phone, hand just over the phone.
Well, recording it.
Recording it.
Problematic.
Yeah, let's take a step back first. You are correct. Recording it is very problematic.
Yes.
And then giving that recording right to the cops.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Get along with your lawyers.
Yeah. Don't go through 10 lawyers.
Also, maybe you don't know best.
Could they bring that up in court? Could like the prosecution be like, yeah, she's had to get like 10 lawyers?
No, I doubt it.
No, probably
That's
not.
like a circumstantial,
You couldn't use that as a character attack?
Yeah, there was something else that she was claiming in court that when George drinks, he gets drunk. So she anticipated that he was going to be angry and went upstairs and went to bed. Like her story changed a lot about why she went to bed.
You can't say it's an accident
one day. But you also just can't say history shows that when he drinks, he gets violent. And therefore I predicted he was going to get violent. Yeah. She was saying that kind of shit.
That's weird. And then, I mean, she has all these things against her. She's terrible. Terrible. Stay in jail.
She's definitely going to get life in prison. There's no way.
Yeah, you have to, right? Like that's got to be.
Maybe you can't for second degree.
Second degree's got to be. How old is she?
She's 47 now.
She's going to go to jail for at least 30 years, right?
Yeah.
So be 80, I would assume.
Imagine all the letters people are going to get.
Oh. She's going to write angry letters to everybody.
I might have found some of this just so we can hear her voice.
Yeah.
Oh, they said don't hang up. She hung up.
Yeah, she calls back though.
Fire rescue. What's the location, Mercy?
Desk 32.
No, please don't leave.
4748 France Lane, apartment 3.
France Court.
France Court.
I think that's her neighbor.
Okay, is this near Mackenzie Drive?
I don't know where that is.
This is her
That's
neighbor? Or that's her.
That's her. The first voice was a lady, I think.
Okay, okay. It's Gilwood Park Apartments.
That's the neighbor?
Okay, 4748
That's her.
France, correct? Correct. All right, great. Now tell me exactly what happened there. My boyfriend and I were playing last night, and I put him in his case and we were playing. And like kind of hide and seek kind of thing. So I fell asleep, and I woke up, and he was dead in the suitcase. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
That's pretty matter of fact.
Yeah. And that might be the first part of the call. I forgot that she hung up. The first part, I think she just says, my boyfriend's dead. Yeah. And she does not change from that tone through the call.
I mean, she
heard
basically
a lot
says, I put him in the suitcase.
Yeah, she says I put it. Yeah.
We were playing hide and seek, but I mean, you're pretty much going to seek him if you put him in his hiding spot.
That's what I picked that up too, where she was like, we were playing hide and seek, and I put him in a suitcase. That's not.
Yeah, who were you guys hiding from?
Yeah, who taught you hide and seek? We were playing hide and seek, so I shot him with a gun. Like what?
Oh man. All right, Jason, tell people where to find us or whatever, something.
Yeah, come find us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all that great stuff. And as always, please like, subscribe, share with your friends, rate us, rate the podcast, rate the episode, just rate literally anything you can that has to do with us.
Now we're going to play Get to Know Maria.
Yep.
Get to know Maria.
Get to know her.
Maria, what are the ingredients in your marinara sauce?
Garlic, onions, basil, lots of tomatoes, tomato paste. There's like a family secret ingredient that if I give it out, I'm going to get.
Who knew I stumbled onto something juicy like this?
You don't have to list
Is it
the
a common
ingredient.
household
It's
ingredient?
a common household ingredient. It's just instead of, a lot of people use
I
carrots.
mean, you don't have
No,
to
it's
say
okay.
it
It's
if
fine.
you want.
Do
What
sugar?
do I have? A
You do
restaurant?
straight
I don't
sugar?
have a
Yeah, you gotta do a
restaurant.
little sugar.
No sugar.
We use a carrot. Some people
You
use
don't. Some
carrots
people
to
use
sweeten them
carrots.
up.
Some people use sugar.
Okay.
My family uses a very, very tiny bit of baking soda because it doesn't sweeten the sauce.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my mom's dead. She won't care, but my sisters will definitely.
Oh boy, there
she's
goes their
gone.
restaurant ideas.
Yeah. There it goes. We'll deal with them next time we see them.
Well, thanks for that, Maria. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go home and make a big pot.
Yeah. Not too many onions.
No, not too many. Hey, I'm Greg.
I'm Jason.
I'm Maria.
Thanks for hanging out. Take it easy.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, dummies.